in this situation before. He knows exactly what it takes, whereas this is unknown territory for MARK11. This, though, is our second semi-final here at the FIFAe World Cup, and the teams and the players are ready.
Yes, thank you, Rachel. It's time to find out who's taking that final spot in the FIFAe World Cup Grand Final to take on Manu Bouchard, who awaits to find out his opponent. Please join me in introducing our first semi-finalist for this game to the stage. It is, of course, the Brazilian PHZIN. The man representing Ajax Brazil is no stranger to World Championships. He's already got 2 of them, including the one he picked up less than a week ago on this very stage with Brazil at the E-Nations. Can he do something unprecedented and win back-to-back E-World Cups? We're going to find out shortly. Welcome to the stage. Going up against PHZIN is a man from down under who goes by the name of MARK11. Well, what a performance we've seen from this man, not just in this tournament, but back-to-back-to-back. 3 tournaments in a row here in Saudi Arabia. He's made it out the group, but this is the one that he's really making a splash in as an individual player. Very impressive thus far. I'm going to have a quick word with the 2 gentlemen here before we do the coin toss. Starting off with you, PHZIN. You're a multiple world champion. This is a chance to win one as an individual player, 1v1. Would it be the most important one yet for you if you win?
Yeah, for me, this is one big dream in my career, and I think I can do this. And yeah, the last tournament I won the nations, but now it's time to focus to the semi-final first, and maybe one final. And I'm very confident. I am ready, and yeah, let's see.
Best of luck to you, my friend. MARK11 now. Number 1 ranked in Oceania. You're going up against the man number 1 ranked in South America. Would it be fair to say that traditionally your region is not given the same respect as other regions, and this is actually a massive chance for you to change that forever?
Yeah, I think me already coming top 4 World Cup just shows that we are capable of competing with the best players. I beat Emre Yilmaz, ACL winner Montaxo, who's been at the top for a long time too.
As we've talked about many times, you've avoided being grouped to every single situation, but this is much more than that now. You're in touching distance of that trophy. Do you believe you can win these 2 games and seal the deal?
Yeah, obviously believe it too. I'm just happy to be here. Top 4 is already a massive achievement. I'm versing probably the most informed player in the world right now, so all the pressure's on him, not me.
Okay, Mark saying all the pressure on PHZIN. Let's do our quick coin toss now to find out who will have home advantage in the second leg. James, we have a blue side of the coin and a black side of the coin. Who is which side?
Blue side is PHZIN, black side is MARK11.
Okay, thank you very much. Take it away. That is the black side of the coin, which means Mark will be the home team in the second leg. PHZIN, you'll be the home team in the first leg. Best of luck, gentlemen. Now it's time to join our casters for this one. Take it away, gentlemen. It's Mike and Richard for this one.
Certainly is, Spain. It's a big game, and what a moment for both of these 2 players. PHZIN looking to cap off what would be the highlight career maybe of the entire FIFA Esports season.
Name a better season that
I've
someone's
got
had. Okay.
Text FIFA 19.
Because he doesn't have the E-World Cup, because he doesn't have a big major out of the back end of
He
that.
won the Club World Cup.
I think he needs the 1v1 to I'm okay with that argument. I'm okay with it.
We can debate that another time.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I just feel like we've never seen the 2 majors in 1 year, and that has to go down. Not only has a historic, but iconic, difference-making, massive for the career path, massive for Brazil as well. When you look at PHZIN, making that move over to Ajax. And then I saw some gamemanship as well from Mark in that interview saying there's no pressure on him. Everything's about PHZIN here. Can he get the job done against me? To a certain degree. Kind of tease that out there.
As you see, PHZIN just making himself at home in his booth on the other side of the stage. MARK11 from Australia. We have to talk about this player because he's done a remarkable achievement in making all 3 World Cups. He's got out the groups at all 3 World Cups as well. But this is the 1v1 E-World Cup, where he's made a dint in the knockouts. And especially when you look at his individual games, Emre Yilmaz, a remarkable match. Emre started making the comeback. Mark picked him to the post. In the quarterfinals, all the games were end-to-end. Cruises through, 3-0 against Montaxa.
And that's the precursor statement that I made. Are we going to see an Aussie make a serious run? Not just get out of the group stage and then lose in the round of 16, which has been something that's been reoccurring over many years of competitive esports. This is the first time that we had a player in this type of position. I actually feel that Mark can go on and get himself into a final as well. If he's able to replicate what he showcased in that first leg, I'm really stuck on that first leg versus Emre Yilmaz. And it's not just the score lines or what he showcased, but the confidence, the composure against the type of opposition, and some of the intricacies, the details on the biggest of stages, the bright lights, everybody's here, all eyes on you. Did not hesitate, lived up to the hype, and we had all the drama.
Both these two players.
Is that a real heart rate?
It is.
85.
He's cool.
I don't think it's my resting heart rate. I think I'm higher than that.
He's cool under pressure.
Are you kidding me? Can we do a check on this? Double. What's Mark on? 85. About to play the biggest match of your life, arguably.
Fist bumps all around. I don't think we're too far away from getting into our second semi-final. Manu Bashaw from Team Hullet awaits one of these 2 gladiators, and they're stepping into the biggest game of their 1v1 FIFA career. Will it be a back-to-back final for the Brazilian? Will MARK11 do something historic? So PHZIN from left to right in that Ajax strip, and from right to left in the FUTWIZ kit will be the Aussie MARK11.
Also, congratulations to Mark. When you're coming from Australia, I would say the pinnacle in terms of signing from organizations and clubs and teams that are shopping that market, FUTWIZ has to be the go-to.
He's actually not been back to Australia. I was chatting to him in about 8 weeks. He's been in Europe. He came over for the playoffs. He's been in around Team FUTWIZ for a little while and just sort of making himself at home as he looks to make himself at home in the semi-final.
Clever usage of the player lock, of course, a new feature in FIFA, allows you to move multiple players simultaneously. It's really only taken advantage of or maximized at the highest degree, the highest level. It's got to be said.
As soon as I go into FUT Champs and I see someone doing a player lock, I know I'm in for a game. Lean forward, because this guy who I'm playing against is going to be serious. PHZIN looking to open up the deadlock. Nice ball all heel to heel, but MARK11 got bodies back to defend. Short corner. What does Jude Bellingham have in the locker? Finds its way back to Bellingham. Nice 1-2 with Pele, but Mark not biting on anything in around the box and defends well.
Thought we might even get outside of the box effort there. Finesse shot angle had opened up. Looks for the dump off, the drop off. Goes for the higher percentage exchange. Sometimes you just want to put out a feeler though. It's still early in the first leg.
You see the first leg being huge in terms of the victory. I mean, it weren't too big of a sort of indicator of who was going to win in the previous semi-final, but we were commentating some of those round of 16 games yesterday where 5-6 goal swings going into the second leg of action.
Not expecting that type of offensive just onslaught, that type of material at this moment, not in the semifinals. I think what we saw yesterday was an anomaly in terms of the amount of goals being scored.
Which great work there from Mark. He's dancing around the box. It was lovely play. Wilfred Zaha did about 13 step-overs, opened up the space, and in the end, PHZIN had to get a body on the line.
Yeah, and a gorgeous Elastico to open it up. But to your point, I don't think that we're going to see that type of offensive gameplay today. Not where it's that much free flow, that much spacing to work with.
See Milinkovic Savic making the move forward. He's the furthest man in this attack. But with him out of position, could be a chance here for Mark to come down the other end. It's Wilfred Zaha once again, pivotal in all of Mark's moves thus far, and he'll be a little bit disappointed not to capitalise on that.
I will say this, 3 out of the 4 semifinalists are definitely known as offensive players, though. Oberyn being a little more on the balanced end. Unfortunately, just got eliminated for him. But again, head up high, big result for the Italians. Fantastic consistency. But it just tells you the direction that FIFA's going in, where it's really catering to additional pressure, more risk for the rewards. You see this trap out of the back from PHZIN. There's just more spacing to work with to get it behind as well.
Yeah, there were a period maybe sort of, especially early FIFA 20, where a bit of overload ball size, quite defensive. And we've seen that over a couple of FIFAs. Like it creeps in and then it'll go out of the game. Playing on the front foot, playing with a press, and trying to sort of just outwork your opponent seems to be the #1 way to success. That's exactly what Mark's looking to do here with Bruno Fernandes. His dream time strike finds its way back to Kevin De Bruyne.
A waka.
Kylian Mbappe.
Oh, he deserved better. He deserved better. What have you seen a live in-action competitive waka 5-star skill, similar to where you had the roulette? We've seen this on replay versus Yilmaz. A stationary roulette is just such an uncommon setup as a skill move. Even if you're playing the weekend league, not even at the competitive level. It's just unusual, it's unorthodox.
This opening 30 minutes, MARK11, as the away team here, will be very, very happy with this performance.
It's been one step away. You really should have an opener. Maybe you have to credit PHZIN on those last-ditch challenges.
Bruno Fernandes. He's driven past us, find Kevin De Bruyne. Bruno takes over once again. It's one touch around the box. He'll find its way to Bruno Fernandes. And it is a silky smooth 35 minutes from Team Footwear's MARK11.
And it's got to be said, it's coming. He was always the more likely. Opportunity on opportunity, edge of the box, the skill moves, the passing, the particulars, the 1-2s, getting the players into the right positions. And it's just been fantastic defense from PHZIN and some of these last efforts or a slide tackle to keep this close. Mark's already had 2 or 3 opportunities before this conversion.
What a start.
And I'd like to date back to what you talked about with some of the defensive players. That's why it's more impressive that we have some of the same faces over the course of multiple years playing at the highest level, because the game has shifted dramatically. I would even argue FIFA 20 all the way up to FIFA 22, defensive games.
We've not got a defensive game right here. It's green time, and it rustles the side netting.
What happened? He's got to convert from there. Goes for the near post, expects the goalkeeper movement. Actually, the goalkeeper really wasn't out of position. Still, that should be hitting the back of the net. I think he overpowered it.
Yeah, I think the goalkeeper was not even in the equation, to be honest.
He just gave that extra oomph that wasn't needed, wasn't necessary.
Mark looks really at home, it has to be said. If you were to ask sort of the general public and even us, if there was one player maybe you'd get nervous in this situation, it probably would be Mark, simply for the fact that PHZIN was here 6 days ago lifting a trophy. But MARK11, you have to say, he is handling this semi-final perfectly so far.
There's a certain cadence or maturity to his game, and we kind of grew with Mark. I remember when he was playing online in the qualifiers, his parents actually didn't allow him to even play FIFA during the week. He was only playing on the weekends. Now he's signed for a major organization. He's qualified for all the events. He hasn't gotten grouped in anything. He's actually started making a little more of a progressive run. He's put himself in a good position to potentially upset the likes of PHZIN.
It's been a fabulous first 45 for Team Footwear's MARK11. And this was the opening goal in the game. It falls back, maybe fortunately, to Bruno Fernandes, but he made no mistake. Green timed it yet again into the bottom left corner. PHZIN comes up the other end. Have a look at the power bar.
Yeah,
it's
just
just
a little too
under
much
3
power.
bars.
Yeah, but he's, what, 10 yards out?
Yeah.
It doesn't need that extra emphasis, and that could be a little bit with nerves. Maybe he's just focusing on making sure his time green. Sometimes you hesitate with the goalkeeper game. You're always trying to guess and check. Is he going to scoot? Which side is going to be open? What's going to be for me? But he's still a lot of time to work with if you're a fan of PHZIN.
Bringing some fresh faces onto the pitch as well is PHZIN. Paul Pogba, Klosterman also. Musiala looks to be pretty fresh as well.
So you're running Musiala as a fullback.
Jude Bellingham linking into Kylian Mbappe. Lovely dink into the box.
Ooh, that's a risky outlet.
You saw what he wanted with Milinkovic Savic being sort of the decoy glancing header to the back post.
PHZIN already with a little more of an aggressive press here. or at least a win after a possession loss type of press.
Just geared up.
Yeah, you could feel the micromanaging the players and the player switching a little bit quicker.
It does mean that if Mark can play out of that press, space will be there to double the Aussies' lead. Good work out wide from Alphonso Davies. He's waiting for support. He finds it in the form of R9, whose pass, unfortunately for MARK11, goes straight into the defender. Could be a counter-attack. Is Mbappe onside on the far side? He certainly is. Goalkeeper comes a long way. Wow. Stumbled over his own feet, and Van der Sar manages to play the ball out of danger.
And sometimes we talk about fortunate bounces or luck of the draw. That's one of those situations. You could probably replay that 10 times. 5 of those 10, he's going to walk that into the back of the net. The goalkeeper's out of position. You just get a better first touch. You think 8? That's one of the 2 that went against him?
And here is Mbappe, player lock fake. Oof. The ball roll just a fraction too late. PHZIN was very quick with the lit to get across and snuff out any danger.
Ooh.
The bad error there. Look at the middle of the pitch. R9 was in loads of space.
I think he missed that opportunity. He'd like to have that back. I think Mark was still surprised that he got that interception. It was kind of an unforced error from PHZIN.
With the owner of the blue card registration, BG04,
Virgil van Dijk. Seems strange for him not to be at the heart of the defence, but even in the centre of the pitch, he's a menace. Just knocking this ball around.
Oh,
I was about to say quite nicely.
Yeah, we should see some changes here, some adjustments. I was going to build off of that. He's changed the tempo of the game with Mark, and then he's looking to speed it up again when he gets into that final third.
Both players running the fallback as well. 4-3-2-1, no 5s in sight. As you see, both coaches having a word with their players. Nick DeHarmer on the left.
Yeah, if we could slide a mic in there, I'd love to hear what's going down. It's maybe the most animated I've seen Denman, especially considering how good Mark's been. A lot of times your coach pops in or pops out, gives you a little bit of the iPad or the breakdown when you want to see a tactical adjustment. Maybe things haven't been flowing.
I don't think it's any coincidence that since Denman's come in, you see Footwood's performances have improved as well. They never really had that permanent coach, permanent manager before. Dan was here or there. Sometimes there was players sort of stepping into that role. What you're seeing now is a permanent face associated with this organisation behind every player.
It comes down to accountability. And that's what Denman's there for, to make sure these guys, I'm sure, are going to bed at the right times. They're prepared properly. If they need anything, there to assist. It's a mix of a coach and a manager all in one.
I know Johnny does a lot of work behind the scenes as well with Team Footwiz throughout the season. Don't always see him at the events, but working hard behind the scenes in preparation. Look at that far side. R9 made the run. Hakimi is there as well, and could be a little chance starting to take shape. For as well as Mark's done going forward, I have to say, defensively, he's been equal almost to everything PHZIN has offered. And I also think PHZIN has been off the boil.
I have no idea what off the boil means.
Not the best.
Not the best. Understood. I figured.
And yesterday he was boiling hot in his performance.
I will say this, I don't think PHZIN has been bad going forward, though, at all. I actually think it's more credit here to Mark's defense. Some of these looping runs, he's done a good job marking those runs. And PHZIN's had a couple big chances that he hasn't been able to convert. So if anything, we can maybe criticize some of the finishing, being clinical. But he's had major opportunities.
See the run once again from Milinkovic-Savic, just being triggered into the box. He will stay forward. The offside trap always squeezing up though from MARK11 to not allow the space in behind. Very tactical game we're seeing unfold here. Paul Pogba in support. What does he have in the locker? Driving. Vanya back to Paul. We're on first name basis. There's Klosterman just ticking this ball around the box. It opens up for R9, but
fair
a great
play
tackle.
from Mark. Fair play. There's a lot going on there. You got probing all over the pitch from PHZIN. One of the best attackers that we have in the FIFA scene. Looking for options. You saw the skill moves. You see the vision, and Mark kind of waits for his opportunity. He doesn't get pulled out of position. He's not mistouching, mistiming. He's not getting baited It's almost a game of cat and mouse when you're looking at this high-level pro offense to defense, especially with some of the positioning and pulling players out of those positions.
Be a chance. Hakimi out wide. Getting into that danger area. Pele goes for the strike.
It's nearly.
Good switch of play. It's going to be one last attack here for PHZIN. 6 minutes left to play in this.
Can't have that. It's an error of touch from nothing. We've seen maybe 3 or 4 unforced errors from PHZIN. Not characteristic.
Just waiting. Attacking the byline. Kevin De Bruyne. As soon as this ball comes into the centre of the pitch, expect the pace and the intensity just be stepped up ever so slightly. Attacking the byline, slightly fortunate with the rebound.
Gonna take it back. That's also a veteran play there. He's looking to get the last opportunity of the game. Worst case scenario, you go in 1-0 into the second leg, all pressure on PHZIN. That's what we're talking about, though. There's a certain maturity here. We talk about experience and how Mark, outside of these events, back-to-back now, doesn't really have the same amount of land experience as a PHZIN, but it doesn't show on the virtual pitch.
Final attack will fall for MARK11, just tries forcing it through the gap, and that will do us for the opening leg. Same footways, MARK11, 90 minutes away from a FIFAe World Cup Grand Final. And he looks pretty comfortable, it has to be said.
It's an interesting equation. You look at both their faces, I don't think either player is happy. PHZIN didn't get on the board, held to a clean sheet, heart rate's slightly on the rise. And then Mark probably feels as if he should have added to his tally, created a bigger gap, made it a little more difficult for the likes of PHZIN to overcome a deficit with how good he's been, both defensively and offensively. Even the possession play, a lot of the build-up is maybe the most impressive, but you don't get a stat line with that build-up play. But in terms of where he had the ball, waiting for his opportunities, the way that he managed the game, you got to give a lot of credit to Mark.
I'm hearing there was a poll running online.
Tell me more.
Who will make the World Cup Grand Final?
Was the poll taken now or before the game got underway?
During the game, I believe.
During the game.
And that man on your screen, PHZIN, was 75% favourite.
That's about right. I would agree with that. From a user base, you look at the prereqs, you look at the accomplishments, you look at the name.
And when you talk about PHZIN, for people who might not know about him,
I'm ready to build.
Why do you think he's such a heavy favourite?
So we've seen him come out of the Libertadores. That's basically the prereq for anyone in South America. You win that tournament, you're going to move over to Europe. That's happened. He got second in the Libertadores this year as well. Yep. He's won the E-Nations this year. He also won the E-Nations last year with a whole different squad of teammates. So PHZIN's the only factor or variable that was the same, and he got the same result. That's a champion hoisting a trophy. He's now in the semifinals of the World Cup, signed to Ajax, just signed an extended deal there, where he brought in Resendi into that deal. This guy is a leader, a front runner, the face of Brazil, maybe the face of South America. We talk so much about Nicholas. He's always been that leader. PHZIN could be starting to make a case, especially if he gets a FIFAe World Cup under his belt.
I would argue certainly the best Brazilian player we've ever seen. Not only in terms of achievements, but in terms of performances backed up as well on the pitch. So you raise a good point. I think the people at home, maybe in that poll, know what they're talking about with their votes. On the other side of it, MARK11, it was such a comfortable, you've got to say, performance in the end. In that quarter-final, it was surprising just because of the game beforehand against Emre Yilmaz, where Emre forced the comeback. And I spoke to Denman, I spoke to Mark, and Denman was so, in that first leg, I don't think he'd ever seen me play as well against Emre Yilmaz. It was like,
I don't know if I've seen anyone play that good against Emre Yilmaz.
And then in the second leg, I actually think it was probably more impressive, the fact that Emre forced the comeback and then Mark went on to win. If you take a poll at 5-5 after Emre Yilmaz has just turned it around, 98% probably voting Emre Yilmaz to go on and win.
I have a theory in that matchup in general. I actually think Mark surprised himself such a good opening leg that he maybe left the door open a little bit because he's going into the second leg. Did not expect to have that type of lead.
Here is MARK11 looking to pick up where he left off.
He hesitated slightly, got the ball into Mbappe. You got to give us something. That pop, stop, fake shot, ball roll, some sort of skill move off the rip. Even maybe a heel to ball roll would have been nice, or one of the step overs that he's been using and abusing at all moments throughout this matchup.
You can just see as well on the screen, this is a very rare insight, but you can actually see the controller inputs. Look how quick, when we talk about right stick switching, we talk about pressing, look how quick he is in defensively.
Oh, the goalkeeper movement.
And you saw the goalkeeper movement on the stick as well.
Wow. PHZIN had to be counting his blessings, walks it through, gets a step over, finally bursts into space. Easy pickings.
Look at his heart rate as well, PHZIN, 83. He is taking this game in his stride, and he started very, very well in the opening 10 minutes.
Something that we should also throw out there, maybe remind folks, we talk about PHZIN being the best Brazilian of all time, regardless of this result. He's 19 years old.
Yeah. Seriously impressive. MARK11 coming up the other end. He's been on the back foot in the opening 10. His heart rate slightly higher. That pass so close to going through. R9 was waiting.
Wow, dangerous. You felt the tension in that pass. Whips it in, driven pass. Had to be a manual step. PHZIN keeps the lifeline. I don't think you can go down 2 here if you're PHZIN. Mark's been too good defensively.
Just seeing this attack start to take shape. R9 not in the position you really want him, out wide, but he can be a creator. A little bit strange for Bruno Fernandes, missed the ball.
Maybe a little sloppy, some L1 or R1 dribbling there. Loses the lock on a little bit.
Just look at Milinkovic-Savic. Every single time, he's the one making that run just to force you back ever so slightly. It opens up the space around the rest of the pitch. And again, MARK11 keeping the door shut somehow.
Scary times. You might need just to pause to catch your breath. Off the line, we're talking last stitch, last minute, and PHZIN is definitely taking it to him.
Yeah,
he's feeling like the aggressor.
He's ramped it up yet again. Has PHZIN on the Travella, good save.
It's giving him a little bit of everything. If you're PHZIN right now as well, what do I have to do to score a goal?
Absolutely.
You can't convert a layoff. You've had a couple breakthroughs. You've dealt with goalkeeper movement. You've tried long shots. You're whipping in crosses. You are triggering runs all day from the midfielders, and the way that they move players out of position, when you got the likes of a Jude Bellingham or a Savic, you can't isolate them either. He's giving you everything in the kitchen, including the sink. I don't know if I got that saying quite right, but everything's going.
Yeah, thereabouts.
You see where I was heading.
Mark struggled to really get any sort of foothold in this game.
He's going to toss a refrigerator at him.
Fridge freezer. Milinkovic-Savic sent again. I don't think the ball's been whipped into him once, though. Maybe on one occasion when he went for the knockdown. When will it be that ball flung into the box? Good defending again from MARK11 to isolate in the right areas, come out with the centre-back, be pretty aggressive in his approach play.
This can't finish 1-0. Mark needs some cushion. Otherwise, I just see a goal coming from PHZIN sooner than later.
See that running behind for MARK11. Switch of play, it's a little bit risky when you've got such good physical attacking players as well who can always win a header. That was Musiala on that occasion. Good interplay. This is what Mark needs, just a little bit of possession. Just try and feel your way into the game at some point. It's been pretty relentless pressure so far from PHZIN. Pele, step-overs in the box.
It's almost Barcelona-esque with some of the build-up, little tiki-taka, the timing again when you date back to all the success that they've had. It's a few years. Unstoppable, undeniable. Same energy carried over to the Spanish national team. What a period, what an era.
Numbers out wide. Alphonso Davies, this could be the chance he was waiting for. Recycling possession, R9, and again, defensively, last ditch. Can he do this? I know you said he needs another goal, but
He can't. Surely he can't.
for 40 minutes, he's barricaded that door shut.
I mean, you talk about being precise. Just immaculate defending. Exquisite, if you will.
Approaching half-time. He's not asked many questions going forward, MARK11, but he's not needed to, given that one-goal advantage from the first leg carrying over. This will be an extraordinary finish to the half, you have to say. Really not had any sort of even touches in PHZIN's box. And that will do us for the first 45 of the second leg. MARK11 representing Team FUTWIZ is 6 FIFA minutes away, 6 in-game minutes, real-life minutes from an World Cup Grand Final.
I'm trying to work out something there. I'm over here in some sort of conversation. I might be too far removed. That heart rate's going to be on the up and up. PHZIN still looks very focused. He doesn't necessarily need to shift anything. He was in the right place on multiple occasions.
Talk about him being in the right areas.
I mean, look at the runners. Everybody's getting triggered. Jude looking for options, finds options. Musiala, ball roll, outside of the box, doesn't matter. Van der Sar has that covered. With the Trivellas, you're always a bit of a 50-50. Not only with the goalkeeper movement, but it has to be absolutely perfect. The animation needs to line up. The goalkeeper has to slightly be off his line. I'd love to know what kind of text message we just got from PHZIN. I'm more impressed with a lot of the build-up and the steps. Again, the reoccurring steps that have been timed perfectly from Mark.
It's a long half-time for MARK11.
I don't know if you want that long halftime. It kind of reminds you of the hardship that you have upcoming. I know that he's leading, but you understand you're going to be under pressure.
It's going to be one-way traffic. The entirety of this 45.
There's a certain tension that can't be replicated anywhere else but the biggest of stages.
You must have been in this situation.
I have been.
In your ever-long FIFA career.
I thought you were going to say illustrious career.
When you're in this position, you know you've got a lead, you've not got long left to go. Do you start, how hard is it to actually focus on what's at hand? Because my mind will be going all over the place. I'm 45 minutes away from a 150K. I'm thinking about, do I want to keep possession? Do I want to try and get another goal?
My mindset has always been, in this sort of matchup as well, I would say you've done well. If you get a chance, make sure you take advantage of it, but you don't have to make a drastic change or a big shift if you're Mark.
That's what PHZIN, he's got one goal on his mind. Get the ball in the back of the net. And he's not been able to do it so far.
That's not what you want to see if you're Mark, though. You have to have some possession play. You have to make PHZIN think about.
Yeah, you can't just let him keep coming. Because if these attacks keep coming forward, sooner rather than later, the ball will find its way into the back of the net. PHZIN levels up the tie, one apiece.
And that was inevitable. We talked about it. I kind of gave that preview. Maybe it's a curse or a blessing, depending whose side you're on from the commentary end. He went forward with Mark, a little bit of a step over with Mbappe. It's just a bad giveaway.
Giving the ball away right from kickoff as well, MARK11.
Cue the pause. Cue the pause, Mark. Take a moment. FIFA has a funny way of keeping you humble, and you cannot rush your gameplay, offensively or defensively.
Let's not forget as well, Brazil were in a terrible position, 6 days ago? Trailing in a grand final by 2 goals. They come back, they force the comeback. And it's PHZIN with that winning goal, which will live long in the memory, it has to be said.
So he's expanding that press as well, PHZIN.
MARK11 again at the back, just giving possession away. And PHZIN looks to get a second goal. Huge step from Varane. It's just got no real passing options, does Mark. PHZIN is penning him well and truly in his own half.
Again, intensifying that press.
Look how high he is.
Like a shark, he smells blood.
The midfield's nearly on the attacker's back foot.
But why not? Mark has improved that he's getting him behind the same way. And if anything, I would argue that Mark's build-up's been incredible, but his counters haven't been there yet.
And here he is on one of those counters, killing Mbappe across the keeper, red timed.
If you're PHZIN here, you might just challenge Mark. You might say, I think I can outthink you or outplay you with the offensive end. I'll take some of the gambles defensively, get more time on the ball.
I don't think this game's going to extra time. There'll be a winning goal. Whether it's PHZIN in this second leg, who has been the better player, or MARK11 on a counter, which looks to be the way that this tie is turning. Mbappe, lovely, delicate ball out wide. The ball just rebounding around the box, and it falls to PHZIN. Big chance. Good block at the back. You saw MARK11 when he conceded that goal, just a shake of the head, almost frustrated the way that he did concede. And also, now you see just a few bounces are falling PHZIN's way.
If you're Mark here, formation change, you need an adjustment. You might have some opportunities on some leak outs, some counterattacks. Again, we haven't really seen a lot of that from Mark. That's where you're going to have your big break, your big opportunity. I just don't like what I'm seeing in terms of the press. If you're a fan of Mark, it's so difficult to move against this PHZIN right now with the double teams, the team press, the micromanaging in, the player switching. You see everything on the upper right-hand side of the screen if you're looking at the controller.
You don't see Mark changing, just for the simple fact that against Emery, I'm pretty sure he swapped to a 5, allowed the game to come back.
Well, he doesn't need to go to a 5. That's not the messaging that I'm selling. Especially not at 1-all.
He's gonna see this out in the 4-3-2-1. It's going to be a trade-off. Kevin De Bruyne robbed of possession in the middle of the park. There could be an overlap on the left-hand side of the pitch, and it is Musiala potentially to break foot with his hearts and set Team Ajax into ecstasy. Good defensive work. Just getting a black and green shirt.
You just see that Brazilian flair again. Talk about momentum, the left stick dribbling, the press. It's been relentless.
PHZIN who's cued the pause.
He's probably bringing more pressure. He might go for it here, as you said. Doesn't want to see extra time.
Runners in behind.
PHZIN might have used all his luck in penalty kicks as well. You might have that thought process.
Very well could be. Wilfried Zaha, the step overs, the play out wide that was working so well in the first leg, doesn't seem to be hitting the same, and that space that Zaha has left allows Mbappe to gallop towards the penalty area. Ball roll into the space, looking for a player, Musiala!
That's so well done. If you review that, maybe time green, it's just the pullback, the little skills to work with the timing. See that instant press. There's a lot of gamble here, a lot of risk from PHZIN. I bring it up, Mark will have space to work with. He's got to speed up the game though, he's moving too slow.
7 minutes remaining. Does he potentially look towards a last attack? As that pause will come in.
I just don't think you can hold the ball. I think it's risky to try to hold the ball against PHZIN. 7-8 minutes of game time, just from what we're seeing and also what he's committing in terms of the press. And as a competitor, there's nothing worse than gift wrapping a goal. This is 1-all. You're still in this game if you're Mark. No problems, no worries. Sure, the momentum shifted a little bit. PHZIN has made opportunities, made chances, but he's had struggles with finishing. We haven't seen high conversion rate. That might be in the back of his head as well. That happens in-game. You try to avoid these internal thoughts, but
they always creep through.
That's why we always talk about the mentality, the importance of the mentality. We give so much credit and applause and praise when we see players battle back. We see them recover. We see the changes on the virtual pitch.
It's so hard to sort of get through to people watching at home as well, but the changes mid-game in mentality are what the elite players do.
And that's the biggest separator. When we talk about familiar names, big faces, notoriety, results, accolades, achievements, it's always the group that is mentally stronger. Ability-wise, the majority of these guys are on the same page. There's not a big separation. But how you handle those big moments, how you handle adversity, can you finish? Can you be clinical when all eyes are on you? When you only make 1-2 chances in a game? Because sometimes that's how it happens. You don't have a flourishing or abundance of opportunity.
The world is watching. 3 minutes left to play. Extra time and penalties already been required to separate two semi-finalists today. Will it be called upon again?
Surely holding for the last attack.
He's going to rise to the occasion and book a place in an World Cup Grand Final against Team Hullit's Manu Bashor. Will it be MARK11? A poor passage of play in the middle of the pitch there from...
Why'd he go back? Why'd he go
PHZIN,
back?
and PHZIN's robbed Mark of the ball. Last attack will fall the Brazilians' way. Pele is just getting very scrappy in the middle of the pitch. Mark don't want it. Get me into extra time.
Oh my goodness. Mark had a big interception there, and he had some momentum, he had some runners, he had some players, and he resurfaced. He went for the recycle. You gotta take a gamble. You gotta take a gamble in that circumstance.
You see him clearly messaging someone.
I was wondering if he was changing the music, perhaps. Maybe he's got
a change of music. Yeah, he's got a playlist that he likes.
An extra time playlist. It could exist. Give me a little bit of that lo-fi. Keep the nerves calm.
Tropical house.
No tropical house.
Well,
it's like PHZIN's over here bobbing his head.
We're going into extra time. 30 minutes to play. It's a huge situation for both players.
Massive!
I didn't expect to come into extra time, given the fact that PHZIN was so far on top for the majority of that match. But here we are, in a penalty shootout.
We've already seen one on the day. We're 1 for 1 with penalty shootouts, and 1 for 1 with extra time situations and scenarios. We're gonna test those nerves.
Very well might be required. PHZIN coming forward. Wins himself a corner for his troubles. And as always, it's going to be played short, recycled to the edge of the box. The pass is poor.
So you need something from this. You need something from this.
They were not really ahead of him.
No, but you can. Your build-up can be a little quicker. This is more passive to go all the way back. You're holding it. You're going side to side with the defenders. Here's the error. You can just feel it. You've got to be more decisive.
A little bit of time it gets whipped into the box. He tried it. A low cross. And there's a few red and white shirts forward here. A lot of passes being out of play or just into space.
I think the nerves are kicking in a little bit. You might see some of that experience. We've talked FIFA many years now. Rich, you got to play to win. You can't play not to lose.
That's where mistakes happen. Ousmane Dembele, what does he have in the locker? A couple of step overs, it's going to fall to Mbappe. Reverse Velasco around the corner. Varane stands up strong. And Mark.
Fair play on the defending.
Again, resolute.
Showed a lot of discipline there. A couple mistakes inside the box. PHZIN could go either direction. Definitely was in the driver's seat.
Final chance of the half. He's going to fall to MARK11. Round the corner. Great cancel. Waiting. Holding.
Wow.
Klosterman in the way. It's a big sliding tackle. The referee likes it. And we'll play one more attack. It's going to break down, and that will do us for the first half, unless Mark can get this ball forward with pace and precision. Nkunku out wide. Great work. R9, reverse Lasco, cancel. He's cooking. He's cooking in the box. He got very fortunate. The bounce took him through. But MARK11, Australia, and Team Footweeds do not care.
It doesn't matter. You make your own moments there. You see the double cancellation, the extra skill moves. Yes, it rebounds back to him, but he went for it. First time since the first leg that we've really seen this type of offense. Keep that on repeat and rewatch.
Wow.
So much goodness, and he handled the game management. 105th minute.
He kept it in. He went forward straight away. It was one sort of really quick driven pass from defense straight into the attacking player.
It was decisive. We've been talking about it. We need that decisive FIFA in our lives. And it came off a mistake, a mismanagement from PHZIN. He could have had the last attacker easily walk that into a reset and we go into the second portion of extra time. No problem to boot it out. Got a little bit greedy.
15 minutes. This is going to be an electric second half of extra time. PHZIN will press, will throw bodies forward. MARK11, for the majority of this second leg, has been on the back foot, but he has defended impeccably well, you have to say.
That's probably been the major takeaway. Offensively, especially going into the second leg, a little more lackluster until the moment that Mark just created. But on the defensive end, consistent, reliable, sturdy.
Yeah.
He's not getting moved around. He understands the matchups. He's not getting isolated, staying home, even when he had the mistakes.
He also looks very comfortable defending one-on-one. He looks comfortable in that area. Like some players, as soon as the attacker gets one-on-one, you panic, you lunge in.
Most players.
You jockey out the way.
Especially when you make a mistake out of the back. A couple of those defensive 1v1s, he didn't have any support. It came off an error. He lost the ball in the midfield, lost the ball with a defender. He had to make that recovery.
Final words of wisdom from Denman and Nick as their players are sent out.
He's going to throw this out there. We saw this in the 2v2 with PHZIN. He left it late, but it was great. He has the clutch factor.
He doesn't have long to go, though. 12 minutes remaining. Every black shirt that can possibly be behind the ball is behind the ball for MARK11. Lovely chest from Bellingham. And look, there's not long to go. Another pause cue there by PHZIN. If you see that, you're MARK11, you are happy. You know he's not comfortable with how he's set up. You keep this ball in for as long as possible.
It's also maybe a pre-warning that the constant pressure is incoming.
Yeah.
Do not let that ball go out.
That's great work, I have to say. It's very risky, but got away with it on that occasion. Untouched play from PHZIN. Out wide, this is where he's done a lot of his damage. Musiala, Mbappe. He's beautiful in the box. The Brazilian, however, MARK11 stands strong. And that pause that he's accused,
he's not getting it.
He's probably not going to come through. He has to play with what he's got on the pitch. Over the top, it's a switch of play.
Oh, he meant for the middle man.
Musiala into Henry. Chance for PHZIN. Rafa Varane, MARK11. Stand up strong once again. Possession given away once again. And it's going to fall. To Paul Pogba, who takes the snapshot. And somehow, some way, PHZIN does not die.
Just incredible. You couldn't write a better script.
We saw a Pogba goal in the first semi-final that looked unlikely. We've seen a Pogba goal in the second semi-final. That looks unlikely, but it does not matter.
Bit of a stutter step, almost looks like a power shot as well from that circumstance. Top corner, we've seen Paul Pogba time and time again, comes in off the bench. He's powerful, he's explosive, he's got a big body type, he's got the skill moves, he's got the upgraded stats, the pace has been boosted. I still hate his penalty kick. Just want to throw that in there. We've got to build him up to tear him back down.
We're probably going to see that penalty kick.
PHZIN is not done.
One more chance.
Wow.
Or penalties.
And if you're Mark, that's tough because you've done everything right. Defensively, the steps, the timing, the manual aspects, the micromanaging, that came off an error out of the back. Clear it, send it deep, get it out of there. Surely PHZIN only had one more attack at the maximum left.
Like 119th minute.
Yeah, this was it. One away.
Well, penalties
scooted and booted.
Very likely, unless there's a breakdown at the back or a bit of magic in the attacking third from
one more opportunity here. One more opportunity for Mark.
11. We're going to get maybe one additional minute of injury time. Player lock down the line. Does he want to try and win it? Does he go for penalties? That's the question.
Oh, boy.
The press is in.
I don't know if he has enough time now.
From PHZIN.
30, 40 seconds. In game, it's really one pass and you have to go forward.
I think we're going to penalties. However, no. Well, here we go. It's Paul Pogba for MARK11 with the first spot kick. Big penalty, slams it in the top left corner. Now PHZIN looking to reply with the goal scorer that sent him into a penalty shootout, Paul Pogba. Saved!
I think he put that wide as well. I don't even think that was on frame. Mark from the spot, Mbappe, can he double top left-hand corner? He does indeed. Big moments. Mbappe versus Mbappe. Needs to convert. PHZIN down the middle.
One on the board for PHZIN. Mark stuck it in the top left, both penalties so far. Does he keep going there? No, he switches it. And maybe he's just winning the mind games at this point. PHZIN with a must-score penalty, and he does score.
Feeling mixy. From the spot, Mark, he's been perfect. Virgil, again.
Wow.
PHZIN stuck. Not moving Van der Sar. Going for the middle, from the spot, Dembele. Again, down central.
MARK11 with a penalty to win it. Vanya Milinkovic-Savic from 12 yards scores! Team FIFAe Australia, stand up! You have a FIFAe World Cup grand finalist. MARK11.
That heart rate's definitely taking a notch up. And we haven't really talked about this as we've been on commentary, but every round you double your money. Just might as well bring that up.
150K guaranteed.
In the bank.
MARK11. All 3 World Cups he has participated at. PHZIN's story comes to a close in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. What a 3 weeks it has been for that young man. And I have to say, and I know he's not going to want to hear this, but he's lost a penalty shootout against FIFAe at the Club World Cup. He's now lost a penalty shootout against a player representing Team FIFAe at the FIFAe World Cup. Incredible, incredible scenes. Mike, what a game.
And I'd like to date back to Mark's last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
Talk about impactful. So we've got the E-Club. Made a fantastic comeback with Hollywood. E-Nations, the Aussies, again, getting out of the group stage. Now he signs a new contract, so that's already career shifting. We already know he's going to be a pro FIFA player next year. But not only that, he's in the finals. He could be a world champion. First Australian world champion we've ever had. Open up some additional spots. Put them on the map. It's official. Give the man a couple whistles. I'm sure Denman's got something prepped. I saw extra sunglasses.
Yeah.
Did you expect the likes of Mark versus Manu Bashir in the finals as a potential final? Especially with the Group D that we saw Manu Bashir have to come out of.
I certainly didn't, but they are in the grand final. Manu Bashir is waiting. MARK11 will be joining him, and let's hear what he's got to say.
Mark, you're a grand finalist here at the FIFAe World Cup. How does it feel?
I can't even describe it. It's amazing. This is such a dream for me. Like, I can't believe I'm actually top 2 here. I was already a goal to make a World Cup, and now I'm in the final. I can't believe it. Especially pens too. E-Nations got knocked out in penalties. That hurt a lot. So I can feel how PHZIN's feeling. I feel bad for him, but I thought I played well for the majority of the game. His 2 goals are a bit interesting, but I think I played well throughout the whole game.
Let's talk about the game, because for me, you started it with such attacking intent, putting out some of these less seen skill moves at this level. Like, how do you describe your style, particularly in attack?
To be honest, I just go in the practice arena every day and spam step overs. That's all I do, really. But I thought I attacked pretty well, but I rushed it a few times because my game plan is to hit the left back for the overlap, but he just cut it every single time, so I had to pick something else out, and somehow it worked.
You made so many last-ditch tackles as well. He was constantly getting into the box, but the likes of Van Dijk coming through with these huge tackles. Do you think your defensive abilities are maybe slept on? Because you are so free-flowing going forward, you're actually very solid at the back as well.
I'm not going to lie, I used to be so bad at defending, so I just try to score more goals, but I've improved a lot on my defending. I'm more composed in the box. I don't side tackle and stuff. I try to stand him up, and then it paid off.
What was going through your head when you conceded that last-minute equaliser in extra time? Because it seemed like after that, you weren't in too much of a rush to go for that final attack. Is that because you backed yourself in penalties?
No, I hate pens. This is my first ever lane win in pens. I've lost out 4 in a row, so I didn't want to go pens. I tried attacking, but I dead set couldn't. So it was pens it is, and then it was all luck from there.
Listen, you've done so well, mate. You've got 1 game left between you and $300,000. You've got $150,000 minimum, by the way, but it is Manu Bashir who stands in your way. What do you think that final is going to entail?
We're both young players. Whoever wins will deserve to win, probably. I hope he plays forward at the back, so we're going to have a nice free-throwing game, but whatever happens, happens. I'm already happy no matter what the result is.
Well, listen, we'll see you shortly for the final. Well done, MARK11. I'm going to cross over to PHZIN's booth now, who's obviously on the other side of that game, unfortunately. He's exited the competition in defeat. How are you feeling after that match, pal?
Yeah, I'm very sad, but this is the game. Yeah, I think I deserved a little bit more the second game. but I don't know. I'm very proud with my season. It's very good. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for all the support for Brazilians, guys. And sorry, I try everything this tournament. But my promise for you and for all the guys, look me now. I win this tournament one time in my career for sure.
I believe you. I believe when you say that. You've been incredibly good, you know, not just this year, for a long time. I think the guys on commentary said it, and I think I'd have to echo it, that I think you're the #1 Brazilian player of all time, maybe South American player of all time as well. You know, you've got some competition there with Nicholas, but this year especially has been fantastic. This close to back-to-back finals with the penalty exit is a cruel way to go, but just want to say from everyone how good you've been and how incredible you've been. Have you got a message you want to say to the people at home in Portuguese?
Então, eu queria agradecer a todo mundo aí que torceu, eu fiz de tudo, eu queria muito levar esse título pro Brasil. É o grande sonho da minha carreira ganhar esse campeonato. Cheguei tão perto, faltavam 2 jogos, mas acredito que Deus sabe de tudo e eu prometo que eu vou ganhar esse campeonato uma vez na minha vida, pode ter certeza. Obrigado pela torcida de todos. Não foi dessa vez, mas Deus sabe de tudo e eu estou muito feliz e muito grato a Deus por tudo que Ele faz na minha vida.
Thank you, my friend. Listen, just 19 years old, he's already achieved so much, and I definitely believe him when he says he's going to win this competition one day. But it won't be this year. It's going to be either Manu Bashir or Mark 11 that's going to take home the trophy and $300,000 in the process.